On today's show, Amazon admits that Alexa's always listening, and now is a prime time to erase everything you've ever said to that smart speaker. And what has four wheels and flies? I'm not talking about a garbage truck. An aerospace company is introducing a new craft that promises to take motorsports to all new heights. Think Formula One in the sky. Plus, I have 7 Google tricks you're going to wish you knew before. And in my DIY security tip, I spy, with my little eye, a hidden camera. Now, there are different types of hidden cameras that could be watching you. I'm going to teach you the insider tricks that the pros use to find them. All this plus more digital know-how and, of course, your phone calls here on Komando. Just when you think the Chinese government can't get any more creepy and invasive, think again. This time, it's not just against their own citizens with AI-powered facial recognition baked into just about every level of life, along with all the tech that tracks everything. Now, when you visit China, your welcome includes a spy app. According to several reports, Chinese border agents have been installing spyware on some tourist phones who enter the country. Hand over your phone as you wait to enter the country and unlock it too when asked. Agents take your phone where they start digging through it. iPhones get plugged into a machine that scans files, while Android phones get something different. Lucky you, malware is installed via an app that collects your contacts, text messages, emails, and other data, and then uploads it all to a server. Then they give your phone back like it's no big deal, sometimes without forgetting to delete their intrusive app. I'll take my Windows phone to China. That'll confuse them. And speaking of phones, back in February, Samsung revealed the next big thing in smartphones that they've spent years and tens of millions of dollars working on. I'm talking about the Galaxy Fold. It was pretty slick seeing a smartphone unfold into a tablet, but it didn't really work. The $2,000 Galaxy Fold was not ready for prime time. Sometimes the screen cracked, other times the screen just started flickering before it just turned black. It was more like Galaxy fail. The April release date was postponed and major retailers canceled all their pre-orders. Samsung's CEO said in early July that the launch was embarrassing and he pushed it through before it was ready. You think? Samsung is completely redesigning the Galaxy Fold and still hasn't said when it will be released for reals. They're going to launch the Galaxy Note 10. It's still a big phone with lots of cameras and with no folding capabilities. It should work fine. Samsung put all their chips on the table to push an untested product to the market just to be first. If they can't get it right this time, maybe they should just fold on the idea. In a revelation that should come as no surprise to absolutely no one, whatever you say to Alexa will be kept forever, unless you manually delete it. Responding to a request from a U.S. senator to detail what happens when you interact with Alexa, Amazon said voice recordings and text transcripts will be stored until manually deleted, but some records could stay on file indefinitely. Those records that aren't deletable cover things like orders you make, service subscriptions, and other requests such as recurring reminders. And even though it might be wiped from Amazon servers, it doesn't mean that it's not in the hands of a third party with a skill that's been enabled through Alexa. I think it's safe to say your data is archived in some capacity, especially when it comes to a company that admitted earlier this year that thousands of employees can listen to your voice recordings to, quote, better the product. Check out Komando.com for more on Amazon's response, along with some tips on how to delete your Alexa history. Just remember, what happens on Alexa stays on Alexa. All right, scammy robocalls with spoofed numbers pretending to be someone they're not while trying to scare you into paying up are getting worse. Calls claiming to be from the government are on the increase. You know, the IRS is going to arrest you or the FBI is going to put you in jail. Imposters have been calling for years, but now those numbers have hit an all-time high, which is prompting a new warning from the Federal Trade Commission. It's a lot of calls. More than 175,000 reports so far this year, with $56 million in total losses. Put that into perspective, it's an average of about $1,000 per person. The majority of imposters so far this year are pretending to be the Social Security Administration, followed by Health and Human Services, IRS, and scammers looking for government grants. The big takeaway is that the government is not going to be calling you to demand that you pay up or send you to jail. And no matter how scary they sound, the government is definitely not going to tell you to fork over numerous iTunes gift cards from the dollar store. And by the way, it's not just scammers posing as government agencies looking to score easy gift cards. Listen to this. A Texas man met a woman through the Google Hangouts app. They were getting along pretty well, and then the woman asked the man for a $65 Amazon gift card. Well, this guy got suspicious, but instead of blocking the other person, he decided to take a road trip from Stinnett, Texas, all the way to Lincoln, Nebraska, where his new girlfriend said she lived. You know, drive more than 500 miles to make sure you're not getting scammed. So he gets to the address where his girlfriend lives and sends her a message. But she says she won't let him in to her house for a little hanky-panky until he sends her a picture of the Amazon gift card that also shows the scratched off PIN number. All right, somehow this convinced him that the whole thing was on the up and up. So he texted the photo. But guess what? In a completely surprising turn of events, it turns out the person lied about living at the address given to the guy. Oh, and once they had the gift card information, the girlfriend blocked the Texas guy from any further contact. What a dope. The Kim Komando radio show is heard on over 400 top stations from coast to coast and around the globe on American Forces Network Radio. I love that. 177 different countries, and every ship at sea gets the Kim Komando radio show. Now, a big part of the show, well, it's you at home, the callers. And of course, manning the calls week after week is our very own Andrew Babinski, who I noticed that we're all sporting blue today.
Yeah, it's all about blue.
It's like we just color coordinated with the set or something going on.
Did you see the story of a guy online who sent a picture in to work to get off of his job? He sent in a picture of his car having a flat tire.
Okay, well, that would be like, I've got
You're
a
a
flat.
boss.
Yeah.
That'd be a legitimate excuse not to be able to make it on time or come in. He photoshopped the picture, put it online, and now got 200,000 likes and is calling it the proudest day of his life.
Oh, really? You're kidding?
No.
So he lies to his boss.
Right.
And the whole world now knows that he fabricates crap up. And now he's like, yes.
I need to get my Photoshop skills a little better so I can call in sick next week.
And what would you Photoshop?
I'll figure it out. Maybe I'm attacked by a bear or something.
Oh, yeah, because we got a lot of those.
It's believable.
Yeah, Arizona?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Tons of bears.
All right, we have another exciting show for you today, from flying race cars to new AI advancements that totally bring images to life. And of course, your phone calls next on Komando. Well, you can Google anything, but to get my trusted advice, there's only one place to go. Visit my site, komando.com, whenever you need a digital hand. Nowadays, when you go to the beach, you probably bring a little bit of technology with you, right? Your smartphone to take a lot of pictures of the kids. Then, of course, you maybe have that coolest cooler, so that's where you can charge your phone, maybe even a wireless, waterproof Bluetooth speaker. Well, Dan Watson actually brought one more piece of gear. I'm talking about a drone. That's right, because he wanted to take some dronies. Those are like selfies, but you take them with a drone of the kids. Thanks for joining us here on the show. You saw something pretty interesting when you looked at the pictures of the drone, right?
Yes, it was only about 30 seconds into actually flying over my kids just to take a quick picture at a family beach outline. And I began to see a shadow of a shark moving right in.
Oh, God, that must have petrified you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what'd you do?
So at that point, I began to scream at my wife to get the kids out of the water, and she was a little bit closer to the water, so she was able to get them out real quick. But I was able to capture one image right as that was happening. And then as soon as they started running out of the water again, I was able to grab one other shot. And both of them kind of showed the shark coming in. And then the second one, you can see them running out of the water very quickly. And the actual shark begins to turn around and move away from them.
So can you speculate how far the shark was from your family?
Yeah, it at the time of the first picture was about 20, 30 feet, and then it got a little bit closer, and then it turned away as they were coming in.
So now, you're not new to cameras, from what I understand.
I am not. I have a YouTube channel, and I do all kinds of camera reviews, so I've pretty much used about every new camera in existence.
And so what do you think is the best drone out there right now?
So right now, DJI is pretty much the only one making really solid drones right now for whatever reason. And the Mavic Air is kind of that sweet spot for someone who's getting into drones but still wants some really good videography or photography from it.
And what kind of battery life, if you don't mind me asking, are you seeing on that Maverick?
Yeah, so essentially you can get just over 20 minutes. The problem with a drone is that you don't want to fly it until the battery completely runs out. So always expect a little bit below that, because at 20 minutes or 20% left, you're going to want to start to land it, or at least make it really close to you so that you don't fall from the sky when, when it gets to zero.
That's never a good thing. So
Yeah.
how long did it take you to become proficient at flying the drone? Because I know a lot of folks, that are watching and that are listening right now, they think, maybe flying a drone is easy. And I can tell you from me, firsthand experience, it's not that easy.
It's not. It takes a little bit of time, especially if you're trying to get good quality video from it. Getting smooth movements and stuff can take some time. But the good thing that I love about a drone is if you let go of the controls, it stays right where it is. So that was actually something that helped me out, is while I was able to run and scream at the beach, I didn't have to worry about the drone. It was just staying right there, even though I didn't have the controls in my hand. So if you're very cautious about what you're doing and you ever don't know where it is or where it's going, you just let go. Take your time, try and get your bearings straight, and then try and control it from there.
And there's also that one handy other button, the home button.
Yes.
So can you explain to everybody how that works?
Yes. So the great thing about a drone too is, assuming you do everything right in the setup process, it knows exactly where it is and where you took it off from. So at any point, if you get lost or it doesn't know where it is, it will return to that home location. Even if it starts running out of battery, it will try and make it back to that location before it runs out of battery.
Which is very, very awesome. Now, on your YouTube channel, if you have a few minutes, I'd like to ask you a few questions about that, because we always have folks that, well, they think that they can go make $1 million a year on their YouTube channel. How realistic is that, you as somebody who's doing this all the time?
So if you're looking to do it just from YouTube views, it can be very difficult. We do hundreds of thousands a month, and it's not something that you could have a job off of. However, anytime you have an audience, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube, there's ways of using that audience to make money in different ways, whether it's through affiliate marketing, whether it's through sponsorships, whether it's anything, selling your own products. So using a smaller or even a medium-sized YouTube channel to make money is very possible, as long as you're not doing it just from ad sales off of YouTube AdSense, which is what they do for their marketing.
Because that's very, as you mentioned, it's very, very difficult to make a buck doing that. I mean, you need a lot of page views. So you own a photography business with your wife, correct?
That is correct.
And so you're using the channel to kind of funnel business to that?
Right now, they kind of operate very separately. It was kind of our photography that kind of led us into doing it. So if we had the new cameras, if we were teaching people how to use them, why not use YouTube as a platform to do that? And it started growing from there.
I want to ask you one question, because everybody always asks me this question. If you have a smartphone, say an iPhone, it's got a great camera on board, why do you need to carry a separate camera?
The reasons have gotten a lot less. Your smartphones are doing much better. And the reason they're able to do better is because they're actually, most of them are taking multiple pictures, and the computers in those are so powerful. They can take those multiple images and make one amazing image. So from a standpoint of just shooting something, just bringing out your phone, clicking in auto and having a picture, they do a great job. Where they kind of fall apart is if you want to start editing them, you want to start printing, you want to zoom, you start getting into low light. These are some areas where mirrorless cameras or larger sensor cameras are still an advantage for you.
Well, I guess I have one more question, if you don't mind. The question is that, do you think you'll ever go to the beach again with your family without your drone?
It will be tough. And if we do, we'll definitely be sticking in shallow water, building sandcastles, something like that.
I hear you. Hey, thanks for joining us, Dan. And we're going to put a link over to your YouTube channel so folks can learn more about you and see your camera reviews. And thanks for your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And you see, ladies and gentlemen, it's just the power of technology. And if you have a story that you'd like to share with us, or maybe something that you saw on the news, hey, let me know about it. Go to komando.com, and at the bottom of every page, there's a link that says, contact us.
We have Tyler and Sheena. They're from Pensacola, Florida. And I don't think ever in my life have I done something as cool as what Tyler has done.
Really?
Tyler put together a Facebook page, and he's decided he's going to thank every single police officer in the country.
Really?
And it's working. And he's going viral, and you'll never guess how many police officers he's already thanked.
How many?
90,000.
90,000? So we have Sheena and Tyler in Pensacola, Florida. Hi there, Sheena and Tyler. Welcome.
Hi. Hello.
So, Tyler, I saw a video of you. You're just the cutest little thing ever.
Thank you.
So how did you come up with this idea?
One day, me and my mom went to a store in our town, and I saw 4 deputies. So I asked my mom if I can thank them for their service and buy them donuts. And when I bought them donuts and thanked them for their service, and I hanged out with them for a little bit. And when we left, I asked my mom, why were they so excited over a snack? And my mom said it wasn't the snack. It was because they took the time to say thank you.
Now, Mom, you're a former police officer, right?
Yes.
And so this must have warmed your heart because, let me tell you, you guys have a tough job.
Yes. I mean, I appreciate what they do on so many levels. I mean, I've walked in their shoes. So, I mean, I know what they deal with every day. It's a very stressful job. It's a selfless job. You never go to work and expect to be thanked for what you do, but they deserve to be thanked. And they're, having a hard time right now. There's a lot of people who give them a really negative vibe, and they judge a whole by a few. And so something I've always taught my children is to never judge a whole by a few, because there's no group of people in the world that are 100% perfect.
That is true.
That way, it goes a little further.
No, and that's all. Those are really good lessons for everybody to remember. Really, it doesn't matter what age you are. Now, Tyler, you've been to, I think I heard 47 states.
Yep.
And what's your favorite place? What was your favorite state?
I don't pick favorite states, but the one I had a lot of fun. Well, one that I had a lot of fun at, which I had fun at all of them, is Alaska.
Alaska. What'd you like about Alaska?
I got to see really cool-looking animals like moose and wolves
and reindeers.
Well, that's where Rudolph hangs out, of course. Absolutely. Okay, so, and these 90,000 donuts, how do you pay for them?
Sometimes they're sponsored or discounted, and sometimes we just buy them with our own money.
How often do you go on the road to deliver donuts?
A lot.
A lot?
So we usually will travel for like a week or two at a time, go home for a few weeks, and then we go back out. Summertime, we're kind of on the road pretty much the whole summer. Off and on, we really don't stay home much during the summer. And throughout the school year, we do like a week or two, go home for a few weeks, and then go back out.
Are you homeschooled?
I'm not. I used to go to a charter school, but now I'm going into 6th grade, so we're only going to be able to do it on the weekends now. But and holidays.
What do you want to do next, Tyler?
I want to thank more police officers, and I want to grant wishes and needs.
Do you have any desire, Tyler, to be a police officer?
I want to be a canine officer.
Oh, do you? That's pretty awesome. That is great.
He actually got his nonprofit status at the end of last year. So even when he goes to all 50 states, he's still going to keep going, keep doing the appreciation events. But then he's also been slowly adding in other things. Like he's bought a bulletproof vest for a canine. He's got a national boot giveaway going on right now. So anything that he can do to just give back to his heroes and just let them know they're appreciated. Something that we've found like across the board is there's never enough funding. So, they may not have vests, they may not have boots, they may not have a piece of equipment they need for their car. So if there's something that he can do to help them out where he can take the work out of it for them trying to secure that item.
Okay, so right now, Tyler, everybody in the studio is sitting here looking at themselves thinking that they're just a loser, okay, because of everything that you've done, and you're just going into 6th grade. You are truly an inspiration, Tyler, and I know your mom's incredibly proud of you, but I want to tell you that all of us here at the Kim Komando Show, we are so proud of you, too.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us.
I am not letting Kim off this easy. It's another round of Brand New or Not True next on Komando.
If you like our TV show, you're going to totally love our radio show. Get all 3 hours on your time. Just go to getkim.com. That's getkim.com. So I was pretty surprised, and I'm sure you are too. And when Andrew, he waltzed in the studio and he announced that this is not over. That's what you said, too.
No.
This is not over.
Last week, you sullied the reputation of Brand New or Not True by presenting 3 true products to me.
Oh, I wanted you to win.
Right, but that's not how the game works.
So I am the winner. So why are we playing?
Because we need to end on a high note with a competitive, honest version of Brand New or Not True. So I have come up with 3 products.
Okay.
1 is real, 2 are fake, and you, Kim Komando, have to select the real product.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Product number 1, the Snuggle Robe from The Perfect Company. Bathrobes are making a comeback with millennials, and if it's something a millennial is into, then it must be connected to their cell phone. The Snuggle Robe is the world's first smart bathrobe, because we all know how well water and electronics work together. The creators claim it's 100% waterproof, and there is zero chance the robe is going to spontaneously combust while you're brushing your teeth. The Snuggle Robe has a terry cloth feel, I don't know what that means, and a built-in iPhone charger, a sound system, but the selling point is the built-in warming system.
The built-in warming system?
Leave the warmth of your shower and get right into the warmth of your Snuggle Robe for $119.
It's like having like a towel warmer.
Correct, but instead of just using like steam, it uses electricity and it warms itself with coils, warming coils. Product number 2. The Discovery 4 Backyard Playset from the Discovery Company. Parents know getting their kids to put down their technology and go outside is a tough battle. That's the problem the good folks at the Discovery Company are hoping to solve. The brand new Discovery 4 Backyard Playset includes the following: a swing set, a rock wall, a ladder, a slide, a table and bench, upper and lower clubhouses, and 2 built-in smart televisions.
No.
Can't get your kids out in front of the TV inside? Move the TVs on outside.
Wow.
Ready for product number 3?
Yes.
The OK Bluetooth cassette player from Nind Technologies. Do you remember when we had Sony Walkmans?
Yes.
And the rewind button would break? So you'd have to take a pencil and stick it in the cassette.
And then you'd like to wind it up.
Manually rewind.
Yes.
Well, that experience can now be had by a whole new generation, because they're bringing back the cassette player.
A cassette
Nind
player?
Technologies has released a new Bluetooth cassette player. The retro design looks just like the one from the 80s. It has a headphone jack, but also has a Bluetooth connection for one or multiple users. The device also has a voice recording microphone, so you can record the most important thoughts onto a cassette tape. How inconvenient. So you have your 3 products, Kim: the Snuggle Robe, the Discovery 4 Backyard Playset, and the Bluetooth cassette player.
Okay, well.
Which one is real?
Okay, I'm going to say the Snuggle Robe is not real.
All right.
I'm thinking that we're going retro so much, especially like with vinyl records are so hot. I think that the cassette player is real.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm gonna go. I'm vacillating between the playset and the cassette, but I'm gonna go for the cassette.
All right. Well, the real product is, of these 3, the real one is the Bluetooth cassette player.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Does this mean you have to now spin the sign for 2 days?
No. Just means I'm going to get more bitter and angry and sit in here in my own depression. That's all it means.
Really? You know what? You should be happy that I won. Be happy for winners in your life. Be happy that people are excelling and they're doing their best job ever and they're being their best.
No.
Look up, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's a flying race car? Well, coming up in tomorrow's Tech Today, we look at the future tech of motorsports, next on Komando. We've been hearing that flying cars are coming soon for services like taxis, emergency services, and cargo transport for years, but it's still not there. One company, though, is trying to get a much different kind of flying off the ground. Think Formula One in the sky, and this is really crazy stuff. Out of the blue, an Australian firm has announced a racing series for the skies that they want to kick off with their own octocopter called the Air Speeder. It's kind of a plane, helicopter, car hybrid loaded with a ton of tech that flies over 125 miles per hour. Alludio Racing has big plans for races at venues around the world, with these things flying more than 60 feet above the ground. The company is showing off their electric-powered aircraft at various festivals and plans to begin real tests in the Mojave Desert this year. If all goes to plan, they want to kick off their new racing series by the end of 2020. I'd love to see this in person. Certainly, these electric flying races will go down to the wire. All right, if you're a surgeon, you can certainly practice on humans, but that's so low tech. A Chicago-based game developer called Level X has created a series of video games specifically designed for doctors to help hone their skills. In fact, about 400,000 medical professionals are playing the free games on their iPhones and Android smartphones, with more planned. Each of the current 4 games is geared toward a different specialty, such as cardiology and anesthesiology. And these games are supposed to be every bit as realistic as the ones your kids play, and even incorporate augmented reality. In essence, doctors can perform surgeries without the real-world risks, with the idea being the more they play, the better they get. Just like most games, they keep score, and the results can be used to evaluate doctors for level of skill and certifications. If your doctor does play one of these games, here's hoping for a really, really high score. All right, if you've ever wondered what Mona Lisa would look like having a conversation, well, wonder no more. A Samsung lab in Moscow developed a new kind of artificial intelligence that can take just a single image and recreate lifelike motion. It's not the same tech used in deepfake videos you'll see online of celebrities and politicians. The AI used in those videos has to be trained using a big data set of images of a specific person. Samsung's system first watches videos of people to learn how faces move, then can apply those movements to any other face. Of course, like deepfake videos, the big concern is how this tech could be exploited. If someone wanted to create a deepfake video of you right now, they'd need the right software and gear, along with a ton of images to work with. With Samsung's future tech, all someone would need is one photo, like a social media profile pic, to totally wreak havoc. This is really scary stuff. So don't believe everything you read on the internet, and now don't believe everything that you see either. All right, if you really like to draw, you have to check this out. Now, I admit this tech is kind of geeky, but I think it'll spark your interest like it did mine. A Japanese company created a marker with special conductive silver ink. Here's how it works in one example. Put LED lights with wires exposed, along with a small battery on a sheet of glossy photo paper. Draw a picture with a special pen, anything you want, like a house, a town, a car, or a spider web. And the LEDs will light up as long as your lines complete the circuit between the lights and the battery. You're drawing the circuits. You can pick up the circuit marker by itself on Amazon for around $37, or get a set that also includes the paper for around $46. What does this mean for the future? Well, imagine being able to conduct electricity by simply drawing lines. How's that for a bright idea? All right, coming up, good bedside manner gets all new meaning when I speak with a doctor who developed an app that's changing the way that patients understand their diagnoses. Next, here on Komando. Imagine you go to the doctor and you're told that you have a life-threatening illness and that you need surgery. Well, suddenly, I'm sure you're totally freaking out. And then, of course, doctors, they have their own language, don't they? It just sounds like a whole bunch of mumbo-jumbo. In the middle of all this, and you're trying to just comprehend what's going on, suddenly you start freaking out, right? Well, that's why I'm excited to have a chance to speak with Dr. Mike Winkler. He's from the University of Kentucky. And Mike is kind of a geek of the week, aside from being a world-renowned doctor, because he has come up with his own app that he's called Mixing Cup. Hello there, doctor.
Hello, Kim.
Thanks so much for joining us. So how did you come up with this idea first?
I wanted to create a solution to a few problems all at once. And I'm a radiologist. That's the type of physician that interprets images. And there's a lot that goes on in the acquisition of images and also in the post-processing of images that involves really big data and tremendous computer resources. And then when we transmute the type of images that doctors see into images that a patient can look at, the files that are expressed by the software are very big.
When we start talking about radiology, you know, there is a precise science with that. My mother was diagnosed with cancer, and I took her off to MD Anderson. Fabulous, fabulous place. And her oncologist there actually taught me how to read a PET scan and a CT scan, which, you know, in the beginning, it just looks like a whole bunch of dots, right?
Exactly.
And then, but suddenly you can start saying, okay, I see the cancer at 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock or 10 o'clock. And it becomes a precise science. But I'll tell you, until Dr. Fogelman at MD Anderson taught me actually how to read a scan, it just looked like a whole bunch of stuff on the screen. Like, and he would point it out. It's kind of like when you have an ultrasound of your baby. You're like, okay, I don't see the baby's foot, but I trust that you do.
Exactly. So there's a startup cost to learning how to interpret an image or even orient yourself to a radiographic image. And that's what you experienced. And that does not surprise me that at MD Anderson, your oncologist took the time to teach you how to look through the CT and the PET scan.
But it's two-dimensional, right? I mean, it's really hard to actually visualize that. And I will tell you that as I was working through my mother and helping to explain this to her, what was going on in the family and things like that, is that I found myself wanting to learn more and more about just not cancer, but I really didn't know a lot about how my own body works, right? And so when he was talking about a certain artery, or he was talking about the pancreas and the liver and the gallbladder and the plumbing all associated with that, I have to confess, I can tell you a lot about computers and I can tell you a lot about broadcasting, but you folks have your own gig going on, let me tell you. Now, so your idea with the app was to create that visualization for the patient?
Right. So we do, as a matter of course, in my laboratory and at other laboratories like they have at MD Anderson, we create volume visualizations to give to doctors. So the fully rendered three-dimensional images in color, not in black and white like a regular radiographic image. But what I didn't have, and what the medical post-processing vendors were not providing, was a simple way to make those files accessible to patients. I wanted patients to be able to receive those files almost instantly on their cell phones.
Wow.
So that was the problem, and the program is the solution to that.
So, because when you start talking about scans, even just transferring some of her files from, say, the Mayo Clinic to MD Anderson, or MD Anderson back to the Mayo Clinic, all this, believe it or not, a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of it is just done on CDs.
Exactly, because it's gigabytes and gigabytes of data.
Yeah, and there's really no way. I was just astounded that there was no way like somebody could just push a button and say, okay, there's the scan, let's put it back into her medical record. But no, we have to actually carry a CD from place to place. So how were you able to compress those files? So
I worked with an undergraduate student, the brother of one of my resident trainees, actually, who's a computer science major at Stanford. His name's Leon Lin. And I told them we need an application that itself is very computationally inexpensive, that can dwell on one of the workstations that we have in radiology and not use very many resources, so that it's usable by physicians like me, that then transfers the complex medical imaging files like DICOM files and AVI files into small files like GIF files or MPEG files. And he did all that. And then the other thing is that when we generate these images, we use a technique called volume rendering that is quite computationally expensive. So the frame rates of the videos that we output are low. And I wanted the images to be smoother for the patients. So the second thing that the program does is a technique called motion-based interpolation, which upscales the frame rate from 12 frames per second to any frame rate, 60 frames per second, even 120.
Wow. That's awesome. Okay, so is this a program, an app that the average consumer can now use?
It's not for consumers. A radiologist like me can go to our website or the societal website or come to one of our courses and get the application. It's open source and open access. Then they can run it on their PACS. Once they're done transmuting their files to a convenient format, they can send it in a text message or send it in an email to the referring physician or the patient. So with the app, a radiologist can scan a patient, post-process the imaging, and send it to the referring physician to show on a tablet or an iPhone before the patient gets to the clinic. When the doctor walks in the room, he can say, here's your body, this is your heart, these are your lungs, this is the cancer and it's gotten smaller, or this is the blockage in your coronary artery. And I think that's the applicability of it. So no, a patient doesn't need to download the application. If their doctor is using it, they're going to get their images in a text or in an email.
Well, that's really cool stuff to be able to see that image, because so often it's like, well, you have to wait a day or maybe 2 days or whatever it may be. Or maybe you take the scan, and in the case of the Mayo Clinic, they actually don't put those results up in your medical record until you've had a chance to actually speak to the attending physician. Dr. Winkler, once again, thank you for joining us. And the name of the app is called Mixing Cup. And do keep us posted on all this great stuff that you're doing, okay?
I would love to. Thank you, Kim.
And you see, ladies and gentlemen, just an example of the power of technology. And if you have a story that you'd like to share with us, maybe it's an application that you did, please let us know. Head over to the website. That's komando.com, komando.com. And at the bottom of every page, there's a link that says Contact Us. If you're staying in a vacation rental, there's a chance that spy cameras may be secretly recording you. Well, coming up, I'm going to tell you exactly how to find those spy cameras next here on Komando. All right, it's time now for our digital life hacks tip. Those of us in the know call it the DLH here at the Kim Komando Show. Every week we put one of these together so that this way you know the tips, tricks, and secrets that, well, the tech pros do. And this week we're going to talk about Google, because I bet you there are things that you didn't know that Google could do for you before now. We're not talking about just going to Google and typing a phrase into the search box and seeing what you get. How about, for starters, get more options on your Google search results page. I mean, let's say that you're tired of looking at just they want to show you on page 1. And you don't want to have to go through all the other pages because that can feel, well, really tedious. So what you want to do is click on Settings underneath the right-hand side of the search bar. You're taken to a page where you can adjust actually the number of results that you see. Second on our list is search verbatim for more refined results. So let's say that you're doing a search and you're not really getting what you want, and Google doesn't quite get it. Well, what you want to do is make sure that Google gives you literal search results. You just have to activate an option called verbatim. And don't worry about writing down the steps, because I'm going to tell you more about how you can actually get these steps so that it makes sense more than just watching or listening to the show. You can also remove old searches from your search history. And we've gone how to remove your Google search history before, but the company has actually made it even easier. And what you want to do, you go to Google's delete activity page. Again, we're going to tell you how to do that. And it's not just searching for websites. Maybe you want to search for books. Maybe you want to search news. You want to search movies. And take books and news, for example. You right-click under the search bar, and then you can click the menu item and select books from there. And voila, there's a whole bunch more. You can also plot directions right from your Google search bar. I'm sure you're already familiar with Google Maps, but you can get directions without even opening Maps itself. Just type in directions to, from, and then the search site takes care of the rest. You can also instantly translate in your search bar. So if you're wondering what somebody's saying, if you're wondering how to say something in another language, just go ahead and translate the phrase into whatever language of choice. And then finally, this is a great tip. You can search from Google any other website. So let's say, for example, you're having trouble finding something at komando.com. So you go to Google, you type in site://www.komando.com, and then type in something you're looking for, stop robocalls or whatever it may be. And then bingo bango, all the search results that you see are only from that particular website. As promised, we have all the step-by-steps for you written out over at komando.com. Just drop by the website, komando.com, and once you're there, click that Show Picks button right on the homepage. All right, it's time now for our DIY security tip of the week, and every week we put one of these together for you. And this week, well, because it's time for traveling and people are looking at so many rental properties, it seems like not a day goes by that we don't hear about yet some other hidden spy cam in a rental property. I thought I should teach you how to spot those cameras. So let's start at the beginning. Some tricks to finding hidden cameras. Now, they can be anywhere. They can be in wall outlets, smoke detectors, phone chargers, clock radios, and there are other devices that can act as spy cams, say even bathroom accessories, toilet paper rounds, and crazy stuff. So you want to first physically check the room, do a sweep of the surroundings. Ask yourself, where would a spy camera be? You're smart, you know where it might be. And then you want to look for any unusual decor in the room, like maybe picture frames that look out of place or random fixtures. Check under chairs, look inside books, stuffed animals, pillows. You also want to listen for any type of strange sounds. Most motion-sensitive cameras, there may be like low noise clicks and buzzes. The next thing you want to do is turn off all the lights. and check for small green or red LEDs. Night vision security cameras in particular use these kind of lights, and they normally blink or shine in low light. Now, with the lights off, you can spot pinhole cameras by putting a tube over your eyes, like maybe just using a paper towel tube. You want to do it like a telescope because then you may be able to spot things that you can't. You can use a laser pointer too to just scan across the room. Now, you also want to check the wireless network, the Wi-Fi. This is where a little geeky comes in. If you ever wanted to wear a pocket protector, here's one. You want to scan it using software called Nmap. It's a great network scanning tool for open ports and services and known devices and web IP cameras. Don't worry. I'm going to teach you exactly how to install it and how to use it. You can also pick up an RFID identification signal detector, and it uses radio waves to read and transmit and capture information. Now, what do you do if you actually find a camera? This is some advice that you need to remember. Number one, you want to call the police. Number two, you call the rental company. And number one is always the police, and you want to file a report. Now, you have reasonable rights of expectation in various places, all right? I mean, in bedrooms, yeah, there shouldn't be a camera. In a main living area, it depends on the state that you live. We have more information about that too. So for all the details and the steps that you need, look no further than the official homepage of the Kim Komando Show. That's KOMANDO.com, of course. And once you're there, hit that show picks button right on the homepage.
Stand by, control room. Take it.
All right, have you ever wondered exactly what your kids are texting? Well, some researchers now say that sexting can be healthy. That's right, next here on Komando. I read this headline on USA Today's site the other day, and I had to do a double take. It said, caught your teen sexting? Don't freak out. Experts say study found it can be healthy. What? As the mother of a teenager, I've often spoken to my son about the dangers of sexting or sharing sexually explicit pictures and videos, starting with the golden internet rule. Nothing goes away once it's shared, even privately. But University of Texas medical branch researchers say that sexting is now a healthy part of growing up. They say sexting between older teens should be viewed as, quote, healthy relating. Okay, that's just nuts. These researchers need to get out of the lab. Relationships between teens change way too quickly and often with a ton of emotions. All you need is one sexually explicit photo or video to be shared on Snapchat with a group, and who knows what that teen might do next. No, sexting is not healthy for teens. Teaching them the smart way to act and getting them into their 20s unscathed is. Hey, keep your digital know-how going. Find your local radio station that broadcasts my show, along with more DIY tips, videos, free newsletters delivered from me to your email address, and ebooks on our website. That's Komando.com, and thanks for watching. Hey, thanks for watching. Now, a few things. Don't forget to click the like button and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for more digital know-how, check out all these other great links.